Yo, welcome back to Gridiron Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Brown. As always, joining me is Devontae Forever. What's good, bro? Happy Super Bowl weekend. What's going on?
What's going on, Jay? Happy Super Bowl weekend.
Happy Super Bowl weekend. Yo, as always, guys, comment down below. We'll read your comment on the show. Appreciate all the love and support. Shout out to the Sports Troll group, which is streaming live too, as well as regular Facebook, as well as YouTube. Yo, man, I can't believe we here, man. Super Bowl weekend, obviously coming off the bye week with the Pro Bowl and everything, and also a championship weekend, which had some drama in one game, and one game just plagued with injuries. It's crazy, man. So I just want to get your initial thoughts because we did have a bye week along with the NFL. What was your thoughts on championship weekend? Niners, Eagles, Chiefs, Bengals.
Niners Eagles was pretty much a mess, especially with all the injuries they had. So there's really not much to really say about the Niners Eagles game just because of all the injuries they had. That is the most amount of bad luck I think I've ever seen in a championship game, if I'm being honest. And then the other game, yes. I want to get into that a little later, technically, but for being honest, yes, the refs did some weird stuff with the do-over on third down, blah blah blah. I understand that the refs were doing some really weird type stuff. It's really stupid that people think the NFL is scripted. It's really dumb. We're just tearing our ACLs for script. No. Right. Because if NFL is really scripted, I would tell you right now, WWE pays a lot more than the NFL does, for being honest. Anyway, but I think the problem with the Bengals, the reason why the Bengals lost the game is because they refused to run the ball. If we're all being honest, if we're gonna keep it a stack, let's keep it a stack. They didn't run the ball, they lost. It's literally cut and dry. That is the reason. And if you think I'm lying, wait till the Super Bowl, you'll see.
Yeah. Look, man. Kansas City, you run the ball on them, keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand. Of course, the Patrick Mahomes, he's going to make throws. He's incredible. You know what I mean? He's going to do what he does. He's going to have maybe 2 or 3 throws a game where it's I don't know if I ever saw that before. You have to wrap him up and bring him down. I know they got the body weight issue that they call the flag for, but with guys like him, man, 1 inch of space and he throwing a touchdown. That's the wild part about Mahomes, man. He's incredible. I thought the Bengals, they had it just run the ball. What really hurt me, though, was the 49er game, man. Just seeing the injuries that plagued the 49ers. And it's just been a tale of their entire season, if we're being real. Starting with Trey Lance and then Purdy. And then Garoppolo, and now Purdy was out for the game. And then Josh Johnson came and he got knocked out of the game. Christian McCaffrey was back there playing quarterback. Purdy literally wouldn't throw the ball because he couldn't. It's just the way the season started is exactly how it ended for San Fran. And I feel like we kind of got robbed of a good matchup because it started out great. You know what I mean? Started out great, and then just the injuries just piled on. There's not much you could even do about it. And then as for Chiefs Bengals, man, Bengals, look, next year, feed Mixon. If you're going to keep them, feed them. You know what I mean? I know you got Joe and Jamar and T and Tyler Boyd and Hayden, but you got to run the ball. It was working. I do agree. If they run the ball more, I think they possibly win that game. But more importantly, it's not a long show today. Next week, of course, we will recap the Super Bowl as well as we will talk about some of the coaching hires, some of the coaching firings, and how things are kind of starting to shift. I know as a Raider fan, Derek Carr is on the move possibly. I know he met with the Saints today. His former head coach, Dennis Allen's obviously coach of the Saints. So I'm curious to see where that shakes up. I know the Jets are in play with Derek as well. So yeah, man, just real quick, what's your outlook on the Steelers for next year? Of course we'll do a draft show and a free agency show, but what do you think they need specifically for next year?
Oh, do you mean number 1 position? Do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, cornerback. Cornerback for sure. I would say definitely corner. Or, you can either go 1A, 1B with either cornerback or left tackle. I prefer you go to the draft route corner, get a veteran left tackle. I'm one of the people where it's I don't really trust young left tackles because they got to grow in pains, and depending on them growing pains, you can get your quarterback murdered for that. So
Absolutely.
For me, I've always been, if there's one position that needs a veteran left tackle, I'm going left. That left tackle slot needs to be a veteran at all times for me. That's just me. But so like there's a bunch of players out there, like Orlando Brown Jr. is out there, and
Yep.
there's a bunch of different type of free agents who play left tackle or who would play both, who can swing. But for me, I want a cornerback. Give me mine. I need a number one lockdown corner. I feel like that's like the one thing. Like we have a dog in damn near every position on defense besides cornerback. So like I really just want that one. Like, all right, we taking him away, and then like see what like other receivers can do against our secondary, which is a pretty decent secondary. So I would.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not opposed to that for Pittsburgh. I think one of the genius things that the Patriots used to do, obviously, shout out to Bill Belichick, of course, and of course, next week we'll get into Brady retiring and everything like that.
Yeah.
Is I love how Bill would always put his best corner on the number 2 guy, shut him down, and then double team the number 1 guy. There goes your 2 best passers. You know what I mean? Receivers. But yeah, man. So that's championship weekend. Like I said, it's gonna be a shorter show today because obviously there's not much to talk about. So let's jump right into it, man. Here we go. Super Bowl 57, which is crazy that we're even at Super Bowl 57. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday at 6:30. This is obviously the first time they're meeting this year. Both number 1 seeds advance to the Super Bowl, which is way more rare than you would think. You know what I mean? Like you would think majority of times this happens, but in the sport of football, you never know. The 7th seed can get hot and go for all we know. Yeah, man. So who do you think wins this game? This is an interesting matchup. To be honest, as soon as we got down to the final 4, I thought all 4 games would have been a great matchup. I'm glad San Fran didn't go based on the injury, but both these teams are pretty healthy, as much as you're going to get for this time of year. Who you got winning this game?
This game is tough because it's like their weaknesses and strengths are kind of weirdly parallel match, kind of in a way. But I want to go with the Eagles that are going to win this game. But like I said, I think this game, honestly, this game was heads and tails for me. Like this is a very tough game, and yes, like this is gonna be another game where I feel like yes, there's gonna be like a call or a no call that's gonna screw somebody over. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be a no call or a call that's gonna screw somebody over in the clutch time. But for some reason, as much as I want to say Philly's going to win, because also I bet on Philly to win, I think somehow the Chiefs are just gonna pull this one out again and just like they're gonna get, because like I feel like this game, if you ask me what this game means more to, I think it means more to Patrick Mahomes, because like if you really think about it, like they're all in this he's a GOAT conversation, stuff like that. He only has 1 ring. He's been in the AFC Championship the last 5 years, and like he's been to 2 Super Bowls, won 1, lost 1, but he lost 1 to Tom Brady. That's why, in my opinion, he can't be the GOAT, because the GOAT beat him, and he beat him badly, for being honest. But to other people, Mahomes is the GOAT. Mahomes is the next generation. He's the next generational talent. He's the quote unquote the LeBron, the next LeBron, or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
So I think this will definitely affect his legacy if he really comes in and loses this game, because he's not going against like a veteran. He's going against Jalen Hurts, who's somebody who's also a young quarterback, a young star in this league. I think the Chiefs honestly have to just do what they do and just draw play. I think this is for the first time. I think this game for the Chiefs falls into their strong suit, where it's not, don't worry about their defense. I think this is going to be a game where it's like who can outscore each other. And I think the Chiefs have a better chance of outscoring the Eagles.
Okay.
Why? Because if you think about it, when you look at the Eagles, right, when they just drop back and pass, they're not that efficient of an offense. That's why the RPO works so well, because they can either hand the ball off, Jalen Hurts can take off running. And you've seen, and if you really think about it, that 49ers game the 49ers defense played incredible, if you really think about it.
Absolutely.
It's not 31 points. You put Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, or whatever on the field, not Josh Johnson, who gets a concussion. And then you're
pretty different game. I got you.
It's a whole completely different game, because when Brock Purdy can't even throw because he has a torn ulcer in his elbow, and then you got Chris McCaffrey pretty much as your backup quarterback. How you can't run an offense like that? So it makes everything more condensed, more easy. But like, do I think the Eagles will win that game? Absolutely. The Eagles we're gonna beat the Niners no matter what, in my opinion. But it's just the fact of like the Niners defense showed a lot of holes in the Eagles offense that we didn't talk about. And it's because of the play action and because of the RPOs and stuff like that. When you have somebody who can just stay on one man, to stay on Jalen Hurts, you'll give up a 4-yard run to Gainwell or Miles Sanders or something like that because the players, when you're keeping the ball out of the hands of the players who can really hurt you, you're doing a great job defensively. They might get like a 3rd and 2, convert on a 3rd and 2, but if they end up with a field goal rather than the normal 7, that's the thing I want to see. Like I want to see the Eagles actually win. Like I need to see Nick Sirianni, and like this is going to be a coach's war.
Sure.
And like this is like his first coaching war. And honestly, for me, you look at a lot of times in history, that first coaching war really don't go that well. So that's why like I'm very curious. But this Philly team does remind me similar to like when they became and beat the Patriots on how
Sure.
how on fire they were. But the thing that scares me about that is I think that team had the better secondary than
Okay.
this team does now. With Malcolm Jenkins and them boys who were just coming to hit
Okay.
fiercely and stuff like that. I like D Slay, I like Bradbury, but that's safety. That safety scares me. Those like that middle of that field safety scare me. And who throws in the middle field more than anybody? The Kansas City Chiefs.
I got you.
So like this game is really heads or tails to me, man.
So for me, man, it comes down to two things. I think it's easy. Mahomes is going to put up at least 21 points. He's Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, the crew. They just lethal, man. There's nothing really much more to it. They're going to throw up at least 21 points. To me, it comes down to can the Chiefs stop the run? If they cannot stop the run, they will almost guaranteedly lose this game. Because if once Philly can run, then they start to throw off the run, and then Jalen Hurts will start running as well. And at that point, you're not beating the Eagles. So that's one. And two, can that Chiefs offensive line, which is great. I don't want to hear it's okay. No, that offensive line they assembled in Kansas City is great. You know what I mean? He's back there hobbled on the ankle. His ankle, I'm sure, is going to be much better, but still not 100%. And the fact that he barely got touched by a Cincinnati team that can get after him. So with that said, if that Chiefs offensive line can keep that Philly pass rush, which led the league in sacks, and they are nasty, and there's about 10 of them who rush the passer. If they can keep Mahomes clean, then yeah, the Chiefs got a chance. But I think Eagles will be able to run the ball. I think Kansas City they're going to struggle to protect them, especially with blitz. I think the Eagles defense is primed for this game. Now, obviously, I'm not saying they're going to blank the Chiefs. The Chiefs going to score at least 21 points. But I think Philly going to put up about 28 to 31. I think the Chiefs defense was hyped up to play the Bengals. I think playing against Joe Burrow and Burrowhead and all the smack that was being talked. I think they got up for that. And obviously you get up for the Super Bowl, but you're playing a team that you don't have no history with. You don't have no history with Philly. You know what I mean? You have all the history, especially recently with the Bengals. So I think I'm going Philly 31-27. I think Jalen Hurts, the run game, the defense, watch out for AJ Brown on big third downs. You know what I mean? I think it's just too much, man. I think they play a smash. I think all year long it was right before our eyes, and me included, we kept doubting them. You know what I mean? Oh, the schedule's easy. Oh, they're not really playing nobody. And all. I mean, yeah, you play who you play, but I think this team is, like you said, Howie. He assembled an amazing team, man. Like top to bottom, the kicker's clutch, the punter's clutch, the quarterback is playing very, very well. But they got their challenge cut out for them, man. They're going up against a monster. And when you look at these stats, it just tells them, man, like these teams are pretty evenly matched. Obviously, Chiefs throw the ball better, but the Eagles run the ball better. Both 16-3, 41 touchdowns for Mahomes passing, 22 for Hurts. You add in the rushing, now I think Hurts is at 30. You know, I mean, Chiefs, obviously they pass the ball more. First downs are pretty close. Third down efficiency is close. Sacks allowed. Kansas City give up less, but Hurts is a running quarterback. Touchdowns are close. So like you know, I mean, these teams are both evenly matched. And like this is not the Kansas City team of the past where it's all offense. Their defense is pretty good. They're not obviously top 5, but they're pretty good. They're especially those rookies they got playing in the secondary, and that's what I'm worried about. Super Bowl stage with rookies, I'm always worried. I don't care who it is, you know what I mean? I'm always worried. But yeah, man, I think this is gonna be a good game, man. I think Eagles got a lot to prove. Everybody's been doubting them the entire year, and I think they go and win their second Super Bowl in the last 5-6 years, man. So
I'm I'm not mad at that. I understand it. I totally get it. It's just one thing I think will be interesting is, have we seen the Eagles be against the ropes? Have we seen the Eagles have to be like really getting like whooped on, or like getting punched back, right? Getting punched back in the face, and see how they adjust. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I've always told you all year that Howie Roseman's the GM of the year. It's not a debate, but Nick Sirianni was not in Coach of the Year contention. So now we're gonna see, because like you see a lot of people are saying like anybody can coach that team because they're that loaded, they're that talented, they're that strong. Sure. Now, do I agree with that wholeheartedly? No, I can't. But now this is the game where it's like there's going to be times when you have games that are stacked and loaded and stuff like that. No matter what you do the Super Bowl, unless you're just smacking them around, 9 times out of 10, the Super Bowl is always going to be the game where we're gonna have to see you really drop something. Where it's like, my thing is, what if the RPO don't work? What is in your arsenal? And that's what I want to see, because I've seen the Chiefs 40 million times pull out some of the weirdest, craziest, wildest plays out the book when something's not going right. Mm-hmm. So I want to see what's in his, like, how deep. Bro, I feel like this game is, we're gonna see how deep the Eagles playbook really is, and also more importantly, one thing you can't knock no matter what is, not only is a great offensive mind that Andy Reid is, Steve Spagnuolo is literally one of the better playoff coaches statistically of all time.
Absolutely. The way he calls defense in the playoffs is incredible.
Like, if you think about it, if you look at you can look at the 2007 Giants defense was type trash all regular season. They was getting
until the playoffs. Yep.
To the playoffs, they look to the playoffs, one of the best defenses the playoffs have ever seen. So like, something about the way he schemes stuff up in them playoffs, when he gets to the playoffs, you can't ever shy away from that. You can't ever, like, that's something you're definitely gonna have to worry about. And somehow Chris Jones is always a dog, no matter where
he is.
Chris Jones is a dog, and it sucks because he's always on a rough Chiefs defense, that where it's like they don't play defense like that.
Right.
Like, Chris Jones is a man, isn't it? Is a man. But I do think for Chris Jones, this is his toughest
test. Hi,
test
Kathleen.
For sure. It's his toughest test for sure.
What I'm worried about, man, the most is that Philly offensive line is nasty. Like, they're nasty, man. Like, this ain't your typical modern NFL offensive line where it's just kickback, pro set pass blocking. They're nasty, bro. That run blocking and that 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, that quarterback sneak thing they do, which I'm pretty sure they're going to change the rules next year. But for this game, is still in play, where Hurts and his 7,000-pound squatting self and the two backs just push them across the line. It's like the 3rd down and fit, like they're going to get the 3rd and short yardage every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then from there, they can hand it off, do a pitch. Like, I think it's just too much for that Chiefs defense. I love Chris Jones, man. He's a monster. I actually wish he would go to a different team, to be honest, so he can actually get appreciated. You know what I mean? Because if you play for the Chiefs right now, unless you Kelsey, you're getting overshadowed by Patrick Mahomes. So this is tough, bro. I think this game is tough for Kansas City. And I know Mahomes is going to have 3 to 4 plays. He might even throw it behind the back. I know it's been like joked about. He even joked about it. He might throw it behind the back. He might flip it for a touchdown or whatever. But that Philly, they hit, man. This is about as close you're going to get to a team that hit. You know what I mean? Like, they're nasty. And Hassan Reddick, man. Like, the technical skill he got when he rushes the pass. Look, it's a reason. I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but there's a reason why Brock Purdy got hurt. And that's because of the penalties being thrown for attacking the quarterback and landing on them, now defenders, pass rushers, they're attacking the thumb and the wrist on purpose to pop the ball out. So there's a reason why they're swatting like this. If you go to throw, they're swatting here. So I would not be surprised if they get to Mahomes, they're going to go for that wrist. And you know what I mean? You call it cheating, you call it whatever. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Let's get to the comments real quick, and then of course we'll talk a little bit more about the game, and then we'll get out of here. Of course, appreciate the love and support as always. Jessica with the donation of the stars, I appreciate it. She said, "Happy Super Bowl weekend. We are here," which is crazy because it felt like we just launched the show week 1, right? And now we are here at the Super Bowl. Wild. Danny B. Sue said, "What's up, nephew? What's good? What's good? What's going on?"
What's up?
Reggie Brown said, "Chiefs 34, Eagles 20. Eagles jump up 14-0, and then all Chiefs from there." That's an interesting thing right there, saying the Chiefs just, they always start slow, but then they just start rolling. If I'm the Chiefs,
Yeah.
I come out, I take the ball first. I come out, take the ball first. I'm gonna test myself against that defense. GOAT Mahomes, MVP. I think he will win the MVP. I'll leave the GOAT talk to you.
Yeah.
Legacy, make it to the AFC Championship is cute, but gotta win ranks. Look, man,
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes.
Like,
I hate the statement of, oh, he got next. Like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, all those guys, Hurts, they got now. You know what I mean? They're here already. You know what I mean? Especially Patrick, but they're here. But you're right. To be the GOAT, man, you're gonna need more than one ring. And I look, man, I don't care if he plays 5 more years. He's gonna win at least one of these next few Super Bowls. You know what I mean? So I do think he's gonna end up like I always said I thought he's gonna end up with 2 or 3. Just because I don't feel like, as much as I love Andy Reid, and to me, he's one of the top 3 coaches of all time, Hall of Fame coach. It's just I don't like how he's cocky himself with the offense. They almost don't even care about the defense or the run game. So I think that's what will limit the Chiefs from winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. But I do think that I mean, look, man, he's amazing, but it's time to look, man, we're not gonna act like there's not a guy who just retired who has 7 rings. You know what I mean?
yep.
Manning has 2, Eli has 2, hell, Ben has 2, Montana has 4, Bradshaw has 4. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of guys you got to get off that one. What do we kill Aaron Rodgers for? We kill him for just that 1 ring. So it's time for Mahomes. I mean, he's been there. This is his 3rd trip. So I mean, 2 out of 3 sounds a lot better than 1 out of 3. That's all I'm saying. So
it's better for the league as the Eagles to win, but I think who does this game mean more? It means more to Patrick Mahomes. It's not even close.
Chiefs smacked them last year in Philly. Hell, the Raiders beat the Eagles last year. That don't count.
Sorry, last year.
This is not the same team, Reggie. This is not the same team. Says Facebook user, you gotta click the link to share your name, but I appreciate the love and support. So the rest will be wearing the Chiefs gear. No worry.
There's gonna be some blown calls in this game. I guarantee it. I don't care if you Blakeman or whoever out there. They're gonna be blowing some calls.
I've given up on pass interference a long time ago. I just don't want to see. I don't care if it's Hurts, Mahomes, or whatever. I don't want to see none of that landing on the quarterback, roughing the passer. You know what's gonna happen though. Hassan Reddick gonna hit that thumb and wrist, and they're gonna throw a flag. I promise it's coming.
Yep.
And that's not even illegal yet. I do think they're gonna change that though, but I don't think that's illegal. Well, we'll talk about the off-season changes and stuff when that arrives. Reggie Brown said it's very, very hard to win a Super Bowl. Mahomes got to take advantage of these chances. 7 like Brady will never happen again. I heard a lot of people saying never. Look, man, we're on basically the day of, if you want to count it, that LeBron just broke Kareem's record. That was a never. You know what I mean? Hell, getting to 4 for Bradshaw and Montana was a never. Brady ended up with 7. It's possible, man. You just need a good football team around you. And he has one. But 7, it's tough. But if you're going to be the GOAT or you're going to be close to it, I expect him to get at least 5. If he's going to be that guy who just, you know what I mean? I'm not even saying you got to match him, but you got to get at least 5, bro.
Nah.
Which I doubt, because
that's not going to happen.
Look, man, the AFC is already starting to tighten up. You know what I mean? Obviously the Chiefs, they're still at the top because obviously they're the Super Bowl, but they didn't go last year because they lost to the Bengals. You know what I mean? So it's tightening up. So I do agree. He needs to start taking. Well, him and Andy Reid needs to start taking advantage of these chances before the AFC becomes the wild what. You know what I mean? So, all right. So let's take one more look at these stats real quick, and we're gonna get out of here, man. I hope everybody enjoys the Super Bowl and like that. So again, these are the stats going into the game, man. Mahomes with the 5,000 yards, 41 touchdowns. I didn't even know he threw 12 picks this year. That's crazy to me when I saw that stat.
I think he had a rough start. If I'm not mistaken, they was kind of trash. I think they was kind of trash in the beginning. They might have been kind of trash in the early, first 3-4 weeks. I heard that he wasn't that. He had a good year. Obviously, he's probably going to MVP tomorrow for being MVP before the game, if we really think about it. Right. But I think he had a slowish kind of start.
Okay. Yeah, man. Well, Look, that's all we got. Again, a short show. We'll be back Monday night to recap the Super Bowl. Special show day on Monday, day after. We're going to recap the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about everything going on in the off season. We're going to pick our way too early predictions for next year in terms of who do we think go to Super Bowl? Will we have Philly or the Chiefs going back? So 32 teams down to 2. Shout out to Kansas City. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. And more importantly, shout out to all y'all who supported us on our very first season of Gridiron podcast. We appreciate it. Hit the share button. I am JB as always. Devontae Forever. Let them know where they can find you.
Devontae Foreman on everything. Jay, thank you again. You already know the Super Bowl's coming.
No doubt. Gridiron podcast. We out. Peace.
Peace.